Hey, Coach. Well, I'm so happy you found us on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe, hit the bell up above. We put out content just about every day. Also, go down below and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. If you're looking to become a better basketball coach, you're looking for a mentor, if you're looking for resources, teachhoops.com is the answer for you. Go over and check it out and have a great day.
All right, welcome to High School Hoops. Not going to say the episode because I have no idea.
Don't forget your sponsors.
I know. So last week I forgot sponsors, so I was not going to forget sponsors this week. So go over. I might have. Who knows? I'm old. Before I do the sponsors, how many kids do you have in class? Oh, you have 30 some.
Yeah.
Do you know how many days? Like 2 days to know all their names?
I know all their names before the school year starts.
That's crazy. That's crazy. So I have 150 students. We're coming on week 4. I said I have to know all your names or I'll buy donuts by Friday. Because I know probably 80%, 90%. But it's like I see them for like it's just so hard. And it gets harder as you get older to remember the name.
I know. I get yelled at a lot of the times when I call a kid the wrong name. I know their name, but I might say somebody else's name. I mean, I've done that before a lot these days.
Really?
Yeah. Or I'll be like, oh, you. No, that your name is this. Yep. Okay. I know all their names, but sometimes their name doesn't come out of my mouth. A different name comes out.
I've got a couple rows that are J's and L, like Lauren, Lucas, and Lisi. It's like, ooh, that I can tell you that row right now. Like I know that. I have another row that's a bunch of J's. It's like shit. Maybe I got to do that next year. If your name starts with L, I'm putting you in this row. Kind of.
You're gonna do it by first
name. Because I don't really. I mean, I initially only memorize first names because that's all that really matters.
Yeah.
And from a coaching standpoint, this is a good coaching pivot here. And I had this talk in my stats class. Name your name. Like if I say Jake in a really busy room, you'll hear it.
For sure.
People hear their name. It's just one of the sweetest sounds in the entire world for a human being is their name. So, and they go, what do you mean? I go, well, think about it. If my name is Steve, if someone says Steve, I turn my head, even if they're not talking to me.
Right.
Because I hear the name and it's a sweet name for me. And it's what I've been called so I get it. And I have like Hersley. I have a couple names that I'm struggling with that are hard names. They're not like Sue.
Like phonetically hard to say?
Yes.
Yeah. Those are the hardest because you want to say it the correct way. You know
right.
what.
And I've talked, it's all, I think it's 4 girls. I've talked to all of them. I said, I'm going to really try. And if I get it wrong, correct me. I'm not trying to be rude. I want to get this right for you because I know how important this is. So I have pre-apologized, but we'll see. Otherwise Coach Collins has to get another job for Friday because he doesn't know their names of the donuts. At least I don't have to buy Hertz donuts anymore because they closed. I'll go to Dunkin' and buy 4 dozen. All right. All right. So our sponsors. So that is important. Use names. That's one of the reasons I don't use whistle as much as name at practice because I want them to tune into me saying their name. But anyway, our sponsors, first of all, Dr. Dish, the #1 shooting machine on the market, bar none. Mention us, mention High School Hoops, mention Coach Collins, mention, I don't know, Wisconsin basketball, just so they know that I sent you and they'll give you $400 off. You will not be disappointed. They might not make you better scorers, gonna make you a better shooter though. I can teach you how to make your kids better scorers by going over and joining teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. That was a great transition, Steve. Anyway, I'm playing with poker chips because I'm thinking about when I go to Vegas in February. We'll have to talk about that. Anyway, go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. One-stop shop for basketball coaches. I'm sorry prices have already increased, so you've missed it. I guess if you sent me an email, I could maybe find you a discount code. We'll see at steve@teachhoops.com. But yeah, prices have gone up. Sorry. Inflation's 8%. Coaches got overhead. It will be everything you need to Hey, be a Hall of Fame coach. I call myself a Hall of Fame coach now, coach.
Yeah, you can add that to your testimonials.
I'll add that to my test. The Hall of Fame coach. And then also go over and check out Hoopsalytics. Now, I haven't talked much about Hoopsalytics, and and type in and Bill will give you a great discount if you type in Hoopsalytics. I'll put the link down below, but hoopsalytics.com/teach. They'll give you 25% off. They'll give you a free game, and here's what it is. It's old school film breakdown. So every analytic you'd ever want, and probably more than you want. So it's affordable. If you can't afford the $6,000 huddle film breakdown thing, this is a great reason, less than $100. And you can break the film down. If you're a young coach, you should do this anyway. You should do this. Like, I mean, I don't know why you're not doing this, to be honest with you. The amount of film I've broken down in my life is crazy insane that I'm still married. But it teaches you the game better than Coach and I can teach you the game.
And it's going to give you direction more than you've ever need. Sometimes you do things based on feel, but sometimes cold hard data is really, really helpful.
Yep. A stats teacher will tell you that's true.
And any good educator will tell you that you got to look at the data and then take that data to lead you what you need to do, whether you're a coach or teacher.
Hoopsalytics.com/teach.
All right,
take you to a special page.
This is your topic this week.
I think this is an interesting one.
I think it's good because you said there's a big.
This is a high school hoops one, but I might put this one on the Coach Unplugged feed. I'm thinking I'm going to. And here's the reason why. Because as obviously a high school coach is a big deal, but for any coach, I think the conversion from one sport to the another is not something that's talked about enough. I just don't think it's talked enough about. It's again, every situation is different. And I understand that some people are in big schools and some people are in small schools and some people are but I think first of all, I think multiple sport athletes is important, and I've had this discussion. Jake and I have had this discussion
several times.
But no matter whether the conversion from not playing a sport to playing a sport, and from a fall sport to playing a specific sport, basketball, is something I think as a coach you have to think about. You have to think about that how do I move my football player into basketball? How do I move my cross country runner into basketball? How do I move my soccer player into basketball? How do I move? I think all of those things are an important conversion. I think you've got to have a plan. You've got to figure out how you're not going to hurt them, how you're going to get them in shape. Because football is a weird sport in the sense that it's short bursts, multiple short bursts with rest and heart rate. And, you don't get those kind of rests. How long is the clock between plays in football?
40 seconds. 40.
40. So you get 40 seconds.
That's a lot.
When do you get 40 seconds in a basketball game at a timeout? A full timeout, maybe a quarter.
I mean, really, that's about it.
Yeah. There's no dead ball that's that long. Free throws, you have 10 seconds to shoot a free throw. Like, I'm just saying. And so that they're anaerobic and all that stuff is just not the same, I don't think. What do you think, Coach?
I think besides the physical, I think the mental is huge. That conversion from fall to winter. We talked about before this podcast, there's almost that thin line of making sure you're on a good flow with your players, right? To get them started to go from fall to winter. You don't want to burn them out mentally either, because they've already had a full season of fall, the bus rides, they've had probably gone through homecoming,
and it's the expectations,
right?
It's the football coach having just as high, if not higher, expectations than you, and then all of a sudden you come in and go, you need to be here at 6 a.m. you need to do this. You
can't be an added stressor. I think one thing too is that I think you also can't apply a lot of stress as you as a coach. I think you have to to provide those opportunities for kids that want to get ready for the season, whether it's after school shooting, whether it's conditioning and stuff. And if some kids can't make it because of their other sports and so forth, you cannot dwell on it because
I never worry about that. Like I'm
worry about
excited.
that.
I'm excited when a lot of them show up, but I don't worry. There's no like, well, whatever. I mean, first of all, school's starting.
Yeah.
Too. It's like school's the most important thing. So I know I have a high school kid that mows my lawn, and he's like, he goes, Coach, I gotta stop because school's starting. I go, okay, I can mow my own lawn. I just doing it to kind of
And
like.
don't you think it's really important to have positive relationships with other high school coaches within the high school that you coach?
Oh, it's 100%.
So like you need to just be able to say, these are opportunities. I'm never going to force them on anybody. They're in their sport right now. I think it's really important to not be the macho, this basketball or all coach in a community. I don't care what size community you are. You want to have the backing of all of your coaches of all the different sports.
Well, I can tell you right now that I do 0 open gyms in September at night. I'll do it in the morning before school if they want to come and get some shots in and do that kind of stuff. I do 0 at night, and I take crap for that. But I don't want them to be distracted. I don't want them to be I don't want that to be an issue with feeling like I got to come and I just got done with football practice, or I just and the thing is, then they had a game on Tuesday. You have an open gym on Wednesday. They got another game on Thursday. If they're a volleyball player, the problem is you're stressing them, and I don't think it's fair. Like I don't want that stress on their lives at all. I mean, I don't know how you feel about it, but it's just,
I think it's really important for especially those kids that aren't in a fall sport, to really get into the weight room, to get into doing some conditioning, because whatever sport you're in, you're still going to be in sport condition, whether it's a different type and you're ready. But the hardest transition for a lot of those kids that don't play a fall sport to jump right into basketball, I think that expectation, I think you can be have a little bit different dialogue with those players that aren't doing anything in fall, and provide them an opportunity, or encourage them even more to be doing those things to get themselves prepared. I think what's really important in the early from September and October is to get shots up and provide opportunities for kids to get shots up, because the reality of kids getting hurt is very, very slim. I mean,
right. You're not going to get hurt shooting. And the thing is, and I can tell you from, that we weren't in our gym this summer because of construction. So huge thing for us to get in and shoot on our rims and our lighting and our gym. Just big for us. I mean, even bigger than a normal year. It's like, you guys got to come and get, I mean, and I know last week we were talking about preseason meeting. That will be something I bring up, like, hey, it was different shooting at the middle school. The middle school hole had old fan backboards kind of thing.
The old school.
It's like that's different than shooting on a rectangular glass one. So probably easier to shoot on the glass, but we need some reps. You need some reps.
But I do think shooting is a great thing, because I think it also creates a mental break for kids. I think shooting like on your own or coming and just getting some shots up gives you a break within your schedule today at school. It's almost like a workout. It's an escape to just get some shots up. Like, I think like even football players sometimes it's good for them to get some shots up, or soccer people just to do something different that's not fully, just a little break. I think it can really be beneficial if you really focus on, hey, come in and get some shots up, and that's the most important thing, in making sure that you're in good shape coming into season.
Yeah. And conditioning's a realistic thing. Like it is, you can't expect them to go from 0 and then, or the analogy I always use is, I can't expect you to show up the first day and run a marathon if you haven't run a 10K, like, come on, people, like you got to start getting into shape. No, I'm just saying, but that's what some of them think.
But I do think that some coaches make the mistake of basketball season starts in September and you got to be all in right away. And I think you burn out your team. And
I think you burn out your team.
Coaches like that have done that in the past, and it doesn't work.
You won't get a ring that way.
You won't. And you You might win some games early, but
Yep, and you might win a conference championship.
but you're not going to win the state championship.
Nope, because you're going to run out of gas.
So you always talk about making that pulse, right? You got to feel that pulse of your players and know who you're dealing with.
Right.
And go with that.
And to be honest with you, in this year's team, I have some players that I got to take the gas. I got to take their foot off the gas. Like, stop it. Go to a movie. What are you doing? Yeah. And that's a good problem. I'd rather that. It's easier to take the foot off the gas than try to push the.
But
down.
if you have the pedal too much and you are about injuries and mental health and body, you don't,
right.
And especially now, I think some of these kids, some of your probably juniors and seniors had that whole year of COVID, and then playing a whole year of mass. Like, they're ready to really get this party going this year, right? This is exciting.
They are ready.
I get it. I totally get it.
Yes.
Me coming back to school this year, not even with mass, was like, this is like the best school year ever. Like, it feels like, oh my gosh, it's amazing. Like, I understand where some kids had, especially those competitors, and what players those are. And I could probably think about the players that I've seen play watching your game film that are the ones that are there right now. Like, they have so much burning energy because they are dying to be successful because they've lost out. They're trying to make up time. And I think it's really important as the coach to help guide them in a way where it can be beneficial, but also not be hardening,
Right. It's like the app you buy that you want to run a 5K and you buy the app, and the app has you walk, run, walk, run,
yep.
walk, because it's slowly getting your body ready to do the 5K. Like, it's the same thing with this. It's like, you can't just get them on and do 35 minutes of just conditioning if it's not going to work. They're not going to be in shape. They're not going to be ready. It's just
Guess what? In all reality, nobody wants to do that anyways. If you don't want to do it, they don't want to. If you would put yourself in those shoes, do you want to do that? Nope. Then they don't want to do it. And then guess what happens to your morale of your players? They hate you. And then your season's already in a funk. So start slow to go fast at the end.
I agree. All right. Anything else with that, Coach?
Oh, love that podcast. It was a great one.
Love that. All right. Till next week.
Thanks for watching, Coach. Make sure you go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. Make sure you subscribe so you get notified every time we come back on. But you will not be disappointed with teachhoops.com. 14-day free trial. Let's go check it out. Have a great day.